It's Friday, March 20th, 2026. Welcome to episode 195 of the Alameda Postcast, an audio service of the Alameda Post. I'm your host, Scott Peeler. In this edition of the Postcast, Santa Clara Avenue, Village of Love, College of Alameda Athletics, shutdowns in the news. A teen beach takeover is mostly peaceful. Beware of scammers posing as APD. Mia Bonta introduces immigration legislation, the latest real estate sales, how to live to 100, and get ready to rock and roll this weekend. These stories and more on this episode of the Alameda Postcast. Our top story: shortly after 2 p.m. on Monday, Alameda Fire Department responded to a report of a suspected hazardous material, aka hazmat incident, that injured several people in the 700 block of Santa Clara Avenue near the intersection of Webster Street. According to an AFD Instagram report, initially a fire engine passing the address and one fire medic unit had been flagged down to provide patient care. The incident was quickly upgraded to hazmat status. As AFD noted, quote, a joint agency response followed, totaling 6 chief officers, 2 battalion chiefs, 2 truck companies, 4 engine companies, 3 hazardous materials companies, 6 medical units, 1 staff unit, 1 care team, 1 fire prevention unit, and 1 ambulance supervisor. End quote. Santa Clara Avenue was closed between Webster and Page Streets. Some residents in the immediate area were contacted to evacuate, while others were told to shelter in place. 1 adult and 1 child taken to Highland Hospital in Oakland. 4 other people suffered injuries after inhaling the substance but declined to be transported to the hospital, according to AFD. Fire officials later confirmed that the hazardous material was bear spray, which had been intentionally aimed at the doorway of a residence within the apartment complex. In a KTVU news report, the building manager said that the incident may be linked to a former tenant who had previously been asked to leave the building. Bear spray is essentially double-strength pepper spray, but designed to be deployed from farther away and in a cloud-like dispersion, unlike the shorter-range, more precise pepper sprays. Bear spray also comes in cans that contain far more than the legal 2.5-ounce limit for personal defense sprays. Alameda Municipal Power, PG&E, Alameda Police, and the Alameda County Fire Department all provided assistance. Additionally, Alameda Recreation and Parks assisted with opening a temporary refuge center. The incident lasted approximately 4 hours. At 5 p.m. that afternoon, Alameda PD, through the use of license plate readers, located and arrested the suspect. Full story at alamedapost.com/news. On Friday, February 27th, the former Village of Love Day Center, safe parking, and overnight emergency shelter at 431 Stardust Place unexpectedly closed. As reported in episode 192, on February 17th, City Council had approved Urban Alchemy to take over the operation of Village of Love in a 4-1 vote, with Councilmember Tracy Jensen saying no in the wake of concerns about lawsuits, including a class action lawsuit alleging labor violations and media reports of alleged budget overspending in San Francisco. On February 26th, the city added stipulations to the Urban Alchemy contract designed to protect program participants. Among the stipulations, daily unscheduled site visits conducted by city staff, direct engagement with clients during those visits, clearly posted grievance procedures on site, as well as city contact information to allow confidential reporting of concerns, mandatory participation by Urban Alchemy in program evaluations, prepayment review and approval of all invoices, and a regulation assuring that Urban Alchemy would not assign staff to the city of Alameda who had felony convictions involving abuse against minors. When Urban Alchemy refused to agree to these additional conditions, the city decided on the 27th to close the shelter that day. With the Alameda Warming Shelter already operating above capacity, City Public Information Officer Sarah Henry noted that on the evening of the 27th, quote, city staff contacted the warming shelter and spoke with Christ Episcopal Church staff and on-site staff about the situation. They were told to contact the city if more people came than they were able to accommodate. However, in the end, that was not needed, end quote. At her State of the City address on March 5th, Mayor Marilyn Ezzy Ashcraft noted that the city intends to open a new expanded day center and safe parking facility at Alameda Point in the fall. The new center will be located at 1041 West Midway at Alameda Point, Building 2, Wing 3. In the meantime, services were offered at Dignity Village and through Emergency Supportive Housing. Clients in safe parking were provided a referral option to an alternate site in San Leandro. Full story at alamedapost.com/news. On Wednesday, College of Alameda announced that its athletics programs will be discontinued at the end of the spring 2026 season. Mark Johnson, spokesperson for the Peralta Community College District, said in a press release, quote, Title IX requires equal access to sports for women and men. Over the past few years, we've been unable to maintain a women's sports team at COA. Without women's sports, we cannot continue to offer men's sports, end quote. COA currently offers only 2 sports, men's basketball and women's volleyball. The basketball team, coached by Hall of Famer Gary Gary Payton finished their 25-26 season at 11-15, finishing out with a 7-game losing streak. The women's volleyball team didn't play at all for the past 2 seasons, according to records. In a post on social media, ESPN senior NBA reporter Mark Spears says that Payton will continue his coaching career in the Big Three, the 3-on-3 basketball league founded by rapper Ice Cube. Meanwhile, Alameda players with eligibility are reportedly looking for new schools. COA President Melanie Dixon will be my guest next month on the Alameda Connection on KCSM HD2. Story at alamedapost.com/news. Recently, Alameda and neighboring communities issued stern warnings about unpermitted beach takeovers that threatened to hit Alameda on Sunday and Tuesday. One of the flyers posted on social media called it Assassin Sunday because it would involve an assassin-style game using water guns. The Sunday gathering was moved to Saturday. Hundreds of teens and young adults gathered at Crown Memorial Beach, according to an APD report. The report continued, quote, participants at the beach were generally peaceful, though there were several reports of underage drinking. As the event concluded, many attendees migrated to the South Shore Shopping Center, where APD began receiving reports of disturbances and fights, end quote. There were also reports of a taser being activated within the crowd, according to APD. One victim transported to a local hospital by Alameda Fire Department. Due to the disruption to normal business operations, several businesses in the area closed early. Story at alamedapost.com/news. In other annoyances the police have been dealing with, last Wednesday, APD reported receiving more than 75 calls from community members stating that they had received phone calls that appeared to come from APD, with the caller ID displayed as APD's non-emergency number. This is a common scam tactic known as spoofing, where scammers can manipulate caller IDs to look legitimate. The scammer then impersonates a law enforcement officers claiming they're investigating a case and need to verify a person's identity. And then they use that identity in theft and fraud. The easiest way to avoid becoming a victim of this scam? Hang up. Call the Alameda Police Department directly at 510-337-8340 to verify any caller claiming to be an APD officer or employee. Stories and tips at alamedapost.com/news. On Tuesday, Assemblymember Mia Bonta introduced AB 2600, legislation that would ensure legal representation for every California resident facing deportation. If passed, the bill would create a state program to provide legal representation to all Californians facing deportation proceedings, with priority for people held in immigration detention. Defendants in criminal court have a constitutional right to an attorney, but no such right exists in immigration court. Full story at alamedapost.com/news. As we do every 2 weeks, a look at the latest Alameda real estate sales, March 3rd through 16th, kind of a quiet period compared to the previous 2 weeks. 8 properties sold, 6 on the main island, 2 on Bay Farm. Prices range from $320,000 to $1,615,000. 6 properties above asking price, 1 at list and 1 below. Full details in Liz Rush's article at alamedapost.com/real-estate. Congratulations to the Rotary Club of Alameda on March 6th. Their annual lobster dinner fundraiser raised over $12,000 to support local nonprofits. It was their most successful lobster dinner yet. Story in Megan Noonan's article at alamedapost.com/alameda-life. Congratulations and condolences to the Bishop O'Dowd Dragons girls soccer team. As I noted last week, they were pursuing perfection last Saturday at the state championships, going into the match at 19-0. Mater Dei had other ideas as the Monarchs shut out the Dragons 2-0. Still an amazing season for the Dragons, especially the regular season where they only allowed 1 goal. The secret to living to 100? Potatoes. Get to know the newly minted centenarian Hilda Martini at alamedapost.com/health-fitness. Remember that song? That's Berkeley's own power pop icons, the Rubinoos. They'll be part of the Rock and Roll Flea Market at Faction Brewing this Saturday, just one of the events highlighted in Amanda Laird's All Around Alameda column. Other events, the Special Olympics 5K and Polar Plunge, Carrier Con on the Hornet, learn to brew your own Martzen beer, and Chef Henry Hawaiian of Whisk Cake Creations will teach you how to make ube tiramisu, with all class proceeds benefiting the American Cancer Society's Relay for Life of Alameda. Details on all the events at alamedapost.com/alameda-life. Hope you can join me this Sunday morning at 8 a.m. on KCSM HD2, and my guest on the Alameda Connection will be Jonathan DeLong, co-founder and executive director of the REAP Climate Center. Find the Alameda Post on all the social media platforms, now including TikTok. You can subscribe to us on Apple News and sign up for our weekly news digest at alamedapost.com/email-digest. Get the Postcast wherever you get your podcasts, or tell your smart device to play the Alameda Postcast podcast. I'm Scott Peeler, back next Friday with episode 196 of the Alameda Postcast.